What's going on, everybody? We should have a bunch of reviews coming, especially a lot of the stuff from Can Jam SoCal. And I should have done this one before Can Jam SoCal, but things kind of caught up. And then we had Can Jam SoCal, and I brought back a whole bunch of IEMs from that. Thank you to Music Tech. A bunch of really cool IEMs, especially some of the hot ones. One I was actually going to put up before this video, but I can't because there's a little bit of a delay, so we'll just push that one back. So yes, a whole bunch of Can Jam SoCal stuff coming up. We usually do a video afterwards just talking about the hotness, and that'll be up probably in a week. We'll do a live, Wayne and I'll do a live show. So this one is a interesting one. It's a fun one, but it's an interesting one, this review. And it's fun because it was supposed to go back to back, but we ended up putting a video in between it. But we did the Grand Maestro. And if you've watched that video, go check, or you haven't watched it, go check it out, because I really do like the Grand Maestro. I think it's one of the better or best IEMs that's out there, especially when it comes to tuning and things like that. So I was excited because one of our super friends of the channel, Z, had sent me the Grand Maestro. Ended up buying it because I liked it so much. But he also got in the Grand Maestro Anniversary Edition. And I was excited about that because, wow, can you take the Grand Maestro and make it better? That's something that would be completely exciting, something I would be in for. But unfortunately, I don't think it turned out that way. So it's one of those where you just, maybe you build up too much anticipation, wanted to put it somewhere where it shouldn't be, and you should just go in blindly and listen to something. So with that being said, today's review is going to be on the FatFreq Grand Maestro Anniversary Edition. So the FatFreq GMA, or the Grand Maestro Limited Edition Universal Tri-Bred IM, retails for $5,500. There are only going to be 350 of these made worldwide. It is a 13-driver tri-bred, so it's got 1 dynamic driver, 8 balance armatures, and 4 electrostatic drivers. Alright, so we don't have an unboxing for this, of course, because this is from our friend Z, the wonderful friend Z of the channel. And if it's very similar, just a little bit different, especially the box itself, to the GM. So if you want to get kind of a semblance of what the unboxing would be like, check out my GM video. So here we go. As you can see, the Super Stage modules are special because they have the gold that matches this gold. And it has a very stubby little body now compared to what the GM was like. The GM had that angular body, made it kind of hard, kind of snoot came out like this and made it kind of hard for a lot of people to fit, and that's where the GMA comes in, where it's easier and more ergonomic for fitting. Funny thing is, though, I had a better time fitting the GM than I did with this thing. I had to roll a lot of tips to get a proper fit, but once I did, it was fine. But weirdly enough, not as comfortable as the original GM. Comes with this nice cable here. Good looking cable with silver and gold strands. So this is just a little close-up of everything, but it all matches pretty nicely. It's not a bad looking IM paired with its cable at all. Alright, you know how we do it. Fit and finish segment. So again, the GMA is a very good looking IM. It's got the gold. Some people might abhor the gold. Some people don't like gold. Then you've got this new body that is supposed to be more comfortable for people compared to the GM. And then another nice feature is you've got the recessed vocal switch, which is nice. So I mentioned this in the other part of the video, that for me, it was easier to get the original GMs in my ear, which most people found hard to get in, than these. I had to do a lot of tip rolling, And it's probably because the snout is so short and stubby, but it took me a minute to get a good fit compared to the GM, which I was able to just slide in. But once I got the proper tip on them and a good seal, they're very comfortable. Even though they have the metal body, they're light, so I was able to listen to them for a good amount of time. The cable that comes with it is a very nice cable, better be for $5,500. Haven't had any microphonics issues, things like that. And it matches well with the whole gold motif we've got going on with the GMA. So pound for pound, when it comes to fit and finish, pretty good. A little bit on the fitting, but you know, that's always a personal thing. All right, let's talk about sound on the Grand Maestro anniversary. As I've said before on this channel, I am very treble sensitive, and certain IMs have zinged me in the past when it comes to either a 9K peak or elevated treble on the back end, right? And I've discussed that, and I've mentioned it in the videos, especially when reviewing things, because generally I can review it and it'll be fine. Put on some Type E tips and I can go about my day. But I'll be honest, the Grand Maestro anniversary is a little bit different from me. And I ended up talking to Z about it, and he started showing me some graphs. So for the first time, I'm going to show a couple of graphs. The first graph I'm going to show is the GM, the Grand Maestro, compared to the GMA and the treble at the end. And you'll notice on the graph, the treble at the end is kind of wild. It's been completely boosted. And that just, what ends up happening is I will be listening and my ears feel like they're starting to burn. And it's a very uncomfortable experience. In fact, the last time I experienced this was at CanJam SoCal with the APX ME with its treble. I literally had to take a break for an hour just so my ears could chill back out, you know, let them heal a little bit. So with the GMA, I have the same type of response. Certain IMs, kind of like the 752 or the APX SE, the Stone Edition, I can put on some Final E tips, go through, review, be fine. And I had to do something similar with this. So I found it really, really crazy too, because with the GMs, a lot of people, I've discussed this in the video, a lot of people had issues fitting them because they're kind of shaped weird. But I had no problem with the GM. They fit naturally, they felt good, loved it. I had a harder time with these, even though they were built to be easier to insert, to find the right tips. But luckily I was able to get the Final E tips in there. Now, take everything away that I said. The GMA is a very good sounding IM. I feel like compared to the GM, it's got tighter bass. Not that the GM's bass was flabby, but just a little bit tighter. And a little bit more. So it's good quality bass. It's very nice bass. It'd just be up to you which bass you prefer, because I think they're both very, very good. The mids were very nice, very spacey, very holographic, what you would expect. Changing out the different modules, you get the different sounds. Super stage, you get this wide, expansive, huge layering and depth. I love depth. With the neutral, great for classical, jazz, if you don't want too much bass presence in it. But I found something else odd, and I'll show you the graph, because all of a sudden when you use the voice toggle, everything comes back in. So you have less bass and you have less treble, and the treble response looks a lot like the GM's treble response. And that was the only way I could listen to it without the peaks. But what's odd is that on the GM and the GMA, I've never really liked the voice toggle because it brings it too close for me. And it kind of, all you focus on are the voices and everything else kind of falls off. And that is fine. Everybody's going to be different. Some people like the voice on, voice off, but I thought that was also another interesting change on it. Because with the GM, with the voice toggle, it kind of brings the bass down a little bit, but it doesn't affect the treble, and I love the treble on the GM. The GM's treble, to me, had so much texture, so much air. It was just so lively. It was like the Annihilator 23 and the Fei Wan, like being a treble sensitive guy, but having present treble was very awesome for me because, again, I'm sensitive to it. But for the GMA, the anniversary, I don't know what they did. They just turned up all the treble, and for a treble sensitive guy like me, that's just a no-go. And it just completely throws off the sound for me, where it sounds almost like there's treble bloom and you're trying too hard to make everything sound great. But if you'd used the basis of the GM, everything sounded great. You had resolution, you had all the things you wanted, dynamics, everything. But when you hike up that treble, it just completely throws my brain off. It's like I love the Ragnar, the Noble Viking Ragnar. But it's just too much trouble for me. My brain will shut off. So it's just one of those ones where I'm just like, ugh, why did you just crank up the treble? Because I felt for me, and maybe it's because I am treble sensitive, that the GM's treble was perfect. Like texture, cymbal sounded right. The extension on it was great. Like Manu Katcher, you could go through and listen to his music and hear he uses like so many different types of cymbals, but you would hear them distinctly with their sounds. Like they wouldn't blend together. It was just awesome treble. So yeah, the GMA, man, it's just one of those weird ones where, like Z, the awesome guy that let me borrow it, he loves the treble on it. He loves Viking Ragnar. I know a few of my other friends, Derek, they're not treble sensitive. They love IMs like this. And that's fine. Like, I'm not knocking it for it. It's just not for me because I'm treble sensitive and it's too high. So I really wish I could hear GMA how it's supposed to sound, but again, since my sensitivity, I can't really truly enjoy it for what it is. And that's a shame because I'm a really huge fan of FatFreq. We've done a review of a lot of their videos, a lot of their IMs, and I'm a big fan of the company. But on the GMA, for me, I can't do it. Now, if you have no treble sensitivity, it's something you should actually look into. It might be something you like. If you like boosted treble, that's cool. Again, the owner of it loves it to death. So I'm never going to be like overly negative about something, just saying it's trash just because I can't listen to it. No, there are going to be people out there that love it because they love extra treble. But for me, I can't do it. So that pretty much is a sound review for the GMA. So, is the GMA a buy? If you are not treble sensitive and you're looking for a great bass headset, then it is a very, very good set. If you are treble sensitive, luckily there's a GM. They're going to continue to make the GM. But if you're not treble sensitive and you want airy, high, wispy sounding treble, very good mids where they're spread out, deep, detail, resolution, everything's there, and you want something that has pounding bass or kind of a chameleon where you can change it all up depending on the modules and the voice switch and all that, then it's a very good IEM for you to try out. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask, and I will see you in the next video.